It's cool to be on the road and playing and recording and touring at a high level, but that's not good enough for me. I'm a consummate student. My dream really has always been to be as good a player as I can possibly be and speak on the instrument as freely as I can possibly be. And that path has sort of accidentally opened doors for career opportunities. But my focus has always been just trying to learn and gather knowledge. I've always been looking for either just a good teacher or a group of teachers or just people that know stuff that I can, get ideas from. And not just how to play a paradiddle or, what's the hot lick of the day or week, but just really deeper stuff, conceptual knowledge on how to become great. The guys at Vic Firth put me in touch with Jojo Mayer a few years ago. It was like how long ago was that? Maybe 1 year ago. And man, we had a 2-hour phone call. One of the things we talked about was you really have to kind of set out on your own and carve your own niche these days. It's almost not enough to just be a side guy in a band. It's hard to be a side guy, and if you manage to achieve, being in a band or working at a high level, you still have to do stuff to distinguish yourself. And that's what I do, and that's what I do with my website, with my teaching. I try to take the little, crumbles of knowledge and wisdom that I get on my journey and recycle them through my analytical mind and try to spit them back out in simple terms. If you break anything down, it's simplistic at its core. So hopefully, once you get to a level, in your performance where you're either playing big clubs or big arenas or stadiums, and now I guess, in-ear monitors, you can get them at a pretty inexpensive price. It doesn't take a high level to have a rig. But be careful, everyone that goes into that world, because there's a discrepancy for drummers between the sound we hear naturally when we grow up in our rehearsal rooms and the sound that you get back from the in-ears. For instance, we grew up learning to play and we practice in our studios, and the snare drum it sounds like a snare drum and you're trained to hear it that way. But with the in-ears, it's sort of artificially fed back to you, and if you're not careful, it can not sound like a snare drum. So it's a fine balance when you start getting into the world of in-ears. The upside to in-ears is that, they're in your ear, so they're also blocking out the ambient noise that's going on, the stage volume, which can be, just the drums alone can be just devastating. But you have to be careful, because the good sound, the real crisp sound that I was talking about, usually comes at higher volume, so you can do more damage. You have to spend time working on your relationship between your music and the in-ears itself. Don't just go in there and go balls to the wall, It's a delicate balance. They got Canadian bacon on their pizza pie. They got a cooler full of Coronas and Amstel Light. It's like we're all living in a big old cup, just five between. Mix it all up, different French kisses, Italian ice, margaritas in the moonlight. Just another American Saturday. As far as the traditional grip goes, and that I am a kind of a loud playing country guy, which is basically it's pop music, it's rock, you know, with some country inflection. I have more access to power than I think I ever had playing matched. And it's just how you throw the stick down. I switched from matched back in 2007 to traditional. It was something I just always felt inside of me that there's something about holding the sticks like that just felt right, and there's something about match that just felt wrong and confined. And the traditional grip opened me up. So it was just a matter of training the right muscles to do what I wanted them to do. And since it's largely the turning of the forearm and not the bending of the elbow, I just kept that with me constantly as I learned and practiced. And you know, if I need more volume, I do the molar thing or the whip, and I get the shoulder involved, and I can play as powerfully as I want. Honestly, there's no end, you know, Stuart Copeland, to how hard and loud you can play. I promise. You know, there were a lot of naysayers when I switched. You know, you'll never get the power, man. You'll never. And I spent a lot of time. I practiced. I spent hours relearning how to hit, and I still do that. As far as Vic Firth is concerned and the company, it started with just the first pair that I actually put into my hands. And I remember just going, why do these feel so good? It fit like a glove. I don't know if it's the wood or the varnish, but the sticks felt great. And then thankfully, the guys at Vic Firth would have me. And as I've gotten to know everybody over there, it's just a great bunch of guys. I mean, these guys are my friends. I'm not just a guy on a list, on a roster. Every time I visit with the guys over there, it feels like a welcoming experience. And the other thing is, they went out of their way to help me make a stick that I can use every night. And I love being kind of part of that creative process. And Vic Firth allows me to do that.